Namaste children. Yesterday we have learned about the different sources of food from where it comes, that is plant sources and animal sources. Now today and examples also we have seen what are some definitions like nutrients, nutrition, ingredients, different components of food, what are their functions, what is sprouting, how can you make sprouts, what are the different food we will be eating, which part of the edible part, what is mean by staple food, this all we have discussed. Now coming to today's class, we are going to discuss about the classification of living organisms basing on their food habits. Basing on their food habits means what they will eat. Now mainly there are three main categories of animals basing on the food habits, that is herbivores, carnivores and omnivores. Now we will be taking one by one. What are herbivores? Herbivores are nothing but those animals which eat only plants and plant materials are called as herbivores. That means by eating plants they will get energy. Food gives us energy. So for the food, what type of food they are eating? Only plant materials. So herbivore is meaning plant eating animal. Now because they are eating plant materials will have some type of kind of protein, that is cellulose. This cellulose, to digest, these herbivores will have special digestive system. In them the appendix is very well developed. See, first what the cattle will do, it will eat grass and like a bowel, it will keep like balls inside, it swallows, it won't grind it. Again after sitting some taking rest time, again it will bring back into the mouth, again it will be chewing and grinding. This is called as rumination. So to digest all kinds of plant materials, very well developed digestive system herbivores will be having. Now they need to have two kinds of teeth. One is for cutting the grass, so sharp cutting teeth, and also flat wide grinding teeth. For rumination they will be having. Now coming to the examples, there are several examples for the herbivores. In large, if you see large herbivores like cattle, cow, buffalo, deer, these are all large, very large, grass eating. Then next coming to middle type of herbivores will be that what we'll call goat, sheep, these comes under middle. Now some herbivores will help in pollinations. They will be like pollinators, like what it is, honeybee. Next some herbivores will be like a scavenger, that means eating dead and decaying organisms, dead ones like earthworms and all, decaying dead ones they will be. Some are small herbivores like squirrel, some type of rats. These are all small herbivores. These are the examples of herbivores. Now coming to the next category is carnivores. Now a carnivore is an animal which eats only flesh. That means by killing other animals, it get its food and get energy from that food. Simply to say, carnivore is a flesh eating animal. Now carnivores usually eat herbivores and omnivores also, and very rarely they will eat other carnivores. Now to eat flesh and all, they will have one kind of teeth, that is very long sharp teeth for tearing the food they will be having. Suppose carnivore birds, if you take hyena, eagle, they will be having curved beaks to tear the flesh. Next coming to the examples of carnivores. Now, coming to the examples of carnivores. Now, large carnivores will be like cheetah, lion. These will come under large. Medium will be like eagle, some snakes. These will be medium. Small will be small birds, frog, some type of this is a spider. These all comes under small carnivores. Now next coming to omnivores. What are omnivores? Omnivores are animals which eat both kind of food, that is plant food as well as animals. Plants and animals, both type of food omnivores will be eating. Now, usually all kinds of food, all kinds of plant food cannot be eaten up by the omnivores. Same way, suppose if you take human beings, one best example for omnivore, we can't eat flesh. Human beings cannot eat flesh. Same way, both plant and animal eating also, non-vegetarian also, but they cannot eat some kinds of plants. Now, some insect omnivores will be there. These omnivores are very helpful in the pollination. These are some kinds of helps in the propagation of some important life cycles of some kinds of plants. Now coming to the examples of omnivores, very large omnivores are bear, human beings. Now small omnivores will be, medium sized will be hen, then pig. These will be coming under medium sized. Small or omnivores will be like housefly, bed bugs, mosquitoes. These will be coming under small omnivores. Next coming to, these are mainly categorized based on the food habits. Now classification of animals based on their feeding habits, what they will feed. So there are of three types: scavengers, decomposers and parasites. Scavengers are those animals which feeds on dead organic matter. Already died ones they will eat. That is scavengers. So we can say these scavengers are the cleaners of the environment. That is the cleaner of environment. Now like example hyena, we will be seeing the examples once again. Next coming to the decomposers. Decomposers are those organisms, usually they will be depending upon dead organic matter which is going on decaying, so that it will be feeding on, and these are very good soil friendly ones. Some types of bacterium in the soil, fungus, some invertebrates are examples for the decomposers. Now coming to the next category is parasites. Parasites live on other organisms for their food. They will live on other organisms for their food. So the organism which they will live are called as host organisms. From that host organism, these are guests, like parasites are guest for that host in which they will live. So from that host they will be taking their food and they will be surviving. For example, usually mainly mosquito, some of the protozoans, some of the helminthus types, round worm, flat worm. These are the examples of parasites. Usually parasites will cause diseases in the human beings. Now coming to the examples of scavengers. So many examples are there here. Scavengers, see lion, fox, cheetah. These will be then vulture, hyena. These are the scavengers, some examples of scavengers, and some examples of decomposers: bacteria, mushrooms, some insects, some worms. These are examples of decomposers, and some are including Detritivores. Detritivores are this is the example for detritivores. Some kind of in the soil it will be growing like a ball, mushroom like it will be, but it is not mushroom. In the soil it will grow. This is the picture on the screen. Example for the detrivore. Now next parasites. See, these are protogenic parasites. First line. Second line is the helminthes, roundworm, tapeworm, fluke worm. These are examples. And protozoans, E. coli. These are all protozoan. And some of the insects like lice, bedbug, mosquito, housefly. This housefly will carry some of the uh, parasites in it. Same way, even bed bug, lice, these are very very bad. Leech, these are all very harmful parasites also. Now coming to, these are the two categories of classification of animals basing on the food habits as well as feeding of the food. Now coming to what is mean by food chain. A food chain is nothing but a series of organisms it contains, and it shows what will be eaten by the other organisms. That means in the chain like beads in the chain, how it will be. So a series of organisms which are depending on what food. That is interdependence of animals for their food is simply called as a food chain. Always a food chain begins with a producer. Producer is what? Plant. So next category will be plant eating animals, that is herbivores. Next category will be flesh eating animals, that is carnivores. Next category will be the decomposer. Like that, fourth, fifth, or even sixth, seventh order of consumers also will be there in the food chain. So food chain tells us what eats, who eats whom, who eats what. Okay. Now some examples of the food chains you can observe. Before going to see some of the examples, see plants, deer, lion. This is one of the food chain which is can be called as forest food chain. Normal simple food chain is plants, some worms, bird, cat. Otherwise plants, grasshopper, frog, snake, hawk. Same way algae, aquatic. Small animals it will be, small fishes will be, then big fish, then birds will eat. Now for pictorial example we will be seeing that, see first food chain. See plant, deer, then lion. Next flower, an insect will be taking it nectar. That insect will be eaten by the frog. Frog will be eaten by the snake. This is one kind of food chain. Next some flowers in aquatic, that is algal plants. Some fishes will be eaten. Small fishes will be eaten by the big fishes. This is some examples of food chains. Now coming to one more, this food chain in detail I told now first, second, third, fourth level. So first what happens, food chain, in the food chain producer why will be taking, because it can produce its own food. So taking with the help of sunlight and water, it will be in the air composition, carbon dioxide. The producer is which can prepare its food. Plant will prepare its food. For example, grass we have taken. That will be eaten by the primary consumer is what? Grasshopper. That is herbivore. Grasshopper is the primary consumer. From there it will be eaten up by the grasshoppers will be eaten up by the snake. Snake will be can be considered as a secondary consumer. Secondary consumer snakes will be eaten up by the eagle. So this will become into tertiary consumer, third consumer. Next fourth level what? Decomposer. After it will be dying, fungi and all will be bacteria. It will be depending upon. Next after decomposition what it will be going? Next it will be mixing in the form of nutrients. The decomposers will make it into the soil and mixing again. It will be taken up by the plant for its growth. Nutrient, plant nutrient it will be becoming. This is one of the 4 level, 5 level food chain. Now coming to what is food web. Food web. Many food chains like this linking up together is called as a food web. Web means what? How spider web will be, like that many food chains will be connected together, that is called as food web. Now in this example, food level, 4 levels are there. First, what? Plants. Plants will be eaten up by either grasshopper, another food chain you will be taking. See, a squirrel. Squirrel will be eaten up by a fox. Same way, grasshopper will be by scorpion, scorpion will be by the fox. Otherwise, this squirrel will be taken up by the eagle. So, first one, whatever the producer, that is primary is producer. First, this producer which will be eating herbivore, that is called as primary consumer. Then that primary consumer which will be eating, that is called as secondary consumer. This is the third level. Next, fourth level, this secondary consumer will be eaten up by another animal, that is called as fourth level or tertiary consumer. Like this, so many food chains linking up with each other forms a network, like that is called as a food web. So now this producers can be called as autotrophs also, because they will prepare their auto means self prepare their own food. Then autotrophs will be eaten up by the herbivores, that is plant eating animals. Plant eating animals will be eaten up by the primary consumer, that is primary carnivores. Primary carnivores will be eaten up by the secondary carnivores. Yes, next coming to another example also. See, this is in the soil, the food web. A system of interlinking and interdependent of food chains is called as a food web. Here definition again I have given, a system of interlinking and interdependent of food chains is called as a food web. Now sun, producer, so many interlinking here in the picture. This is called as a food web.